The Ahmed Kathrada Foundation will hold a symbolic picket at the Hector Peterson Memorial Site in Soweto to highlight the ongoing global racism and brutality by law enforcement officials, which continue to take place around the world, including South Africa. Reporter Samkele Maseko is covering the story for us. Samkele, very good morning to you. What's the purpose in terms of what do they aim to achieve by holding this picket?
Well, Blaine, the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation wants to raise awareness of racism across the world and brutality of police officers against civilians in their various countries, as you've seen with the death of George Floyd in the United States of America in the hands of white police officers. You've got also the similar situation here in South Africa, where Collins Khoza was killed allegedly at the hands of the SANDF and the Metro Police here in Johannesburg and SAPS in Alexandra. So these are some of the issues that the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation is trying to highlight. They're going to have the likes of board member and member of parliament Nompendulo Mkhatshwa is going to be giving a main address here on behalf of government and the foundation on these issues are related to the brutality of one may say civilians in the hands of law enforcement officers, and raising the issues of racism. We've had our own issues of racism here in the country, where the Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, has been depicted in a face of a monkey by one of our white counterparts here in South Africa. You've seen the likes of the African National Congress coming out and speaking against that during on Friday evening, when President Cyril Ramaphosa launched the Black Fridays of the ANC in solidarity with African Americans in the United States fighting against racism. It was the Soweto president, Zingi Swalosi, who sharply raised the issue of racism domestically here in South Africa.
You know, a lot of broadcasters, a lot of activists have been saying that these mass uprisings, they're born of pain, and they, I guess, motivated by outrage. We need to get to a better place, and that's why we're seeing, and that's the reasons why what we get from those that are protesting against racism, against police brutality in America and around the world. With regards to South Africa, Samkele, and what you're hearing on the ground, do you feel that there's the same level of outrage and anger at what is going on in pockets in and around South Africa?
Blaine, the issue of racism in South Africa will always be there, and it will always be heightened by incidents of racism. But as soon as those incidents and the hype has dampened down, that atmosphere, that vigor to fight with racism goes away until another situation comes to the fore where one South African is affected by issues of racism. And then that all outrage and the vigor and the enthusiasm to fight racism then comes back into the fore. But one of the most critical aspects that we've seen of late, and that politicians have spoken about for the past 24 years into democracy, is that if the economic landscape of the country is not changed, then racism will continuously persist, because those who are at the cold face of racism are the ones who face the brutality of inequality, poverty, and unemployment of where they are currently stationed in their aspect of life, and that they are closed into all the economic aspects of South Africa, and that the economy is still within the hands of the minority. For instance, if you were to go to the Economic Freedom Fighters, the EFF, which is one political formation which has been at the forefront since their inception of fighting against racism, has been very vocal when it comes to the issue of racism and the economic segregation of the black majority within the country. And then you've got the likes of the African National Congress, who've been continuously throughout fighting against this scourge of racism. Then you've got incidences of racism and some politicians, in a way, praising some of the colonial past that this country has been in from another political formation, that would be some within the Democratic Alliance, allegations of racism against the likes of Diana Barnard of the Democratic Alliance. Then these are some of the issues that are playing themselves out within South Africa, but it also not assisted by the political realm in the country that plays into the hands of racism, that plays itself out into the country. And and that racists have not been thoroughly weeded out of the South African democratic society, which is perceived, in the words of Utata Nelson Mandela, of building a rainbow nation, which is seemingly in tatters when it comes to the issues of economic segregation, which breeds the issue of racism.
And these videos that we keep on seeing, I guess it sparks this mass uprising. And many are saying that in order to effect change, these need to be sustained in order to bring to the fore the issues of racism and police brutality. And I guess it talks to what Will Smith was saying, that racism is not getting worse, it's getting filmed. Samkela Maseko, we thank you very much indeed, sir, for your reporting. We'll come back to you when that event starts. Appreciate it.